Good day, class. So our topic for today is all about caring and maintaining crops, specifically dealing with fertilizers or fertilization. The competencies are as follows. Apply fertilizers. So the following are the competencies. Prepare tools and materials and fertilizer application according to prescribed user's manual. Number 2, identify fertilizers based on kinds. 3. Apply fertilizer rates based on crop requirements. 4. Employ appropriate method of fertilizer application based on crop requirements. 5. Apply precautionary measures to avoid cross-contamination based on field gap and follow safety procedures according to occupational safety and health standards. So in RTR, we see the same thing, but the care and maintain crops competency covers the knowledge, skills, attitudes in applying pest control, measure, apply fertilizer, water crops, perform pruning, and perform physical growth enhancing practices. But specifically, we will be dealing with fertilizers. Okay, our learning objectives are as follows. Number 1, identify fertilizer based on kinds. Number 2, apply fertilizers rates based on crop requirement. 3, value right amount of fertilizer for the kind of crop being grown. Okay, so I will be teaching you how to create a Google account. You go to create Gmail account, and then so we will just have a short discussion about that one. It's either I will be creating or I will be sending a video and you will be creating your own. Either way, ang importante gid nga may ara ka may email account because you are equivalent to first year college, no? So it will be very useful. So that you will be answering then your self-assessment guide. Now, it has been improved already. So you will see may mga pictures na sa. So this is a teacher screen and this one is your screen, the student screen. Okay, so you write your name and then you assess yourself if kaya niyo ni obrahon. So that with the Google Analytics, I can see kung how much of a student already know or can do this one. I have here a very beautiful saying. It says, the constant abrasion and decay of our lives makes the soil of our future growth. So what can you associate with abrasion or decay? Okay, so when you say abrasion, class, no, na ano siya, na scratch, no, and decay, na dunot. So the same way, human as we are, we experience decay in our lives. We experience downfall. We experience abrasion when there would be clashing of personalities. No, hindi mo maintindihan ng isa katao. No, na-abrase siya ang whatever it is, whatever her or his personality is. Okay, so how does relate with your life? Na-encounter niyo na sa inyong home? Okay, I will be waiting for your answers then. So it makes the soil or the foundation for our future growth. Now, whatever our experiences are, now we could grow from that. And sa vegetation, sa soil, our soil, everything, di ba? Everything turns to heat. Everything turns to heat. The law of thermodynamics. Now, whatever it is, now it will turn to heat. Now, even kita class, if we die, we will just return to soil. Diba? So, we should make it our personal agenda to really, kung ano gidi ang mission mo. What is your why? Ano gidi ang why nyo nga nag-eskwela ka mo? Ano gidi ang gusto nyo nga malabot sa life nyo? Ano gidi ang ngaan nyo sa life? No? Nga because kaya mo niya si nanay, si tatay, because para nga, you could go out of poverty. Okay? So, which is achievable. Nan. So remember your whys. Okay? That would be your soil for your future growth. No? Nan. Okay? Because that is your direction. That is your mission in life. Your why. It would take 10 years, a very long time, but that is your direction. Okay? I will be inviting you to play open Kahoot. Kadulang kamo sa kahoot.it and type this game in 05998249. Okay? So this now is your screen. No? So kahoot.it. Then, you type the game pin. Actually, hindi na siya maamuha. The first one, yung 05, yun yung itatype nyo. Because I have set this into a synchronous type of learning which I could record, could recall kung sino na ang mga players, and I could check kung pila yung scores. It's just a formative way of assessing your prior knowledge or understanding about the topic that we will be digging into. Okay, so here you type your screen name. But make sure you write your family name. Because para ma-associate ko gid kung sino gid niya akong estudyante man ang sagad saya maghampang or nami na siya makatch up sa mga questions thrown. Okay, is any material, natural or synthetic origin that supply nutrients? Okay, the correct answer is fertilizer. That has been corrected. Most Philippine farms lack soil analysis. True or false? Maka-assess naman siguro kamo class, no? Because Philippines, our country, where we are helping building the nation. So, how depth is the soil sampling plot? True or false? Soil recommended rate is expressed in NPK kilograms per hectare. Okay. Soil sampling is important in determining the fertility status of your soil. Yan. So soil fertility. Is it true or false? So you see here, you are the players. So makita ko na siya even up to the 30th day. Okay, then i-save nyo lang dayon ang link. So any ideas on the thing that we have discussed? So Kim, what are your idea, Kim? How about Adrian? About the game that you have tried, no, the Kahoot. Okay, so I will be waiting for your ideas, ha? But if you play that Kahoot.it and you type that game pin, ano ba yung game pin? 05 05998249. So you could refresh and recall yourselves about the topic on soil fertility or herein maintaining crops focusing on fertilizer. So any idea? So I'll be waiting your idea then, but I can see that by means of you submitting your answers. For anyway, I will be creating your email account kag password. Tagaan ta ka muna. Kag magkadto ka mo sa classroom ta. I have 2 cell phones, so pwede ko na ipahulam sa inyo ang isa. Then you can borrow that one, okay? Okay, so before we further go to fertilizers, no, we have here, no, what are your ideas? No, probably lahi-lahi ka mag-idea. From male to female. From Kim to Adrian. Probably lahi-lahi ka mag-idea. Why is it? Because, no, according to this study, Transcending Barriers in Agriculture Through Gender and Development, according to Annie and Casasola 2020, it's very recent. No. It says that there are, this is the first statement, thesis statement. Dismantling generations of gender inequality in agriculture can be arduous due to the complex nature of systematic barriers ingrained in the sector that keeps women in an equal playing field with men. Sama na siya nga, may arataya, gender and development. Ingrained in the principle of inclusion that nobody is left behind, the country has signified its strong support to mainstreaming GAD in government programs and initiatives through the enactment of various laws and establishment of Philippine Commission on Women. So this is part now of the recommendation. No, so may aragidya an equal playing field. That is why we streamline whatever talents the women has and whatever strength the man has in order to efficiently deliver or perform the job necessary in agriculture sector. Okay, so nan, agricultural development in rural areas can also be more gender responsive for innovative means of delivering extension services to those who need it the most. Capacity building seminars and trainings could not just tackle agricultural techniques and interventions, but also inculcate gender equality during discussions to foster exchange of ideas between different genders and enable men to change their views on women in agriculture. Because women farmers are as knowledgeable and are skilled farmers as men and are equally capable of assuming managerial roles in farm operations and food production chains. So, it has a great way to increase women's agricultural productivity is to commercialize gender-friendly technologies. So, may role gidi ang women. Kag, amo na siya we need um, to have more holistic and gender responsive programs and interventions because usually ang women probably ang answer ni Kim sa GCTA or whatever we have continue this discussion probably ihambal would be different. It's more of detail oriented. And ang men naman niya short lang na sila maghambal direct to the point. And so let's proceed with these fertilizers. What can you see in this picture? Okay. How about Sophia? How about Kim Villia? No. Probably you could say that may green, the plants itself, may brown, may blue. The fertilizer has different colors, correct? O may color man gali nga parehas sa soil, the fertilize sa plants. That's correct. Because our fertilizer came in different colors. May mixed, may purely blue, may naman liquid, is organic, may combination of three colors. Its life must be colorful as this fertilizer. Iba-iba gid ang kulay. So sa Kahoot, if you have watched the last picture, the last video on self-fertility, it tackles on their organic fertilizer in the form of manures, and inorganic fertilizer in the form of synthetic fertilizer. Now, how this fertilizer came to be? Okay, it came to be during it's a green revolution. You call this green revolution when nag-revolutionize na ang use of fertilizer in the Europe, put up their factories of fertilizer plant in order to create more fertilizer in order to for crop production. Now, and so na-adapt sa Philippines. I think that was in 1950s or 1940s. And then, amo na siya, nag-adapt natin niya ang fertilizer sa atong plant, not knowing that decrease ang soil fertility and gakataas ang dependence sa chemical fertilizer. Yes, that is true, but then still we're using fertilizer because it has an important role naman. So, amo na, may arata management sa atong farm. Okay? So yes, fertilizers vary in color. Why? Because it dictates the chemical properties that it carries. Di ba class, sa atong physics or sa atong chemistry, physical properties, what is physical properties? No? Anong physical properties? Ano lang? Um, no, it's either solid, liquid, or state of the matter na siya. But because of that, mabalan mo na yung pila how easy ang velocity, yung acceleration, no? But sa aton nga soil, gamiton tama na Japon, bulk density. Ano ka bugat ang imong soil? Mga clads, wala ano na siya in Ilonggo man. Basta, kana clads siya in English, that's clads. Okay, so with this class, different kinds of fertilizers, different colors, is an indicator of the chemical that it carries, no? Because class, di ba, usually may art experiment, di ba? May mga experiment when we were younger na hindi ito malipatan. Like for example, ano man nga experiment? If you light a match, malight ka mo match. Mapasiga ka magulas ang posporo, di ba? Kahoy na siya. Pag change niya into ash, na-change na yung chemical composition, na-change man yung color. So that is something, color has something to say with the chemical that it carries. No? Because our fertilizers has different kinds of chemical that it carries. Now, I will be talking to you about that in detail. Okay, so, but before that, maka-understand ta sa atong soil fertility, no, kilalanin natin atong soil. So, paano natin siya makilala atong soil? Mayroon qualitative way, lantaw-lantaw lang. Mayroon quantitative. This is it, sampling and preparing soils for analysis and interpreting soil analysis result para mabalaan tagid kung ano gid ang kalidad sa aton nga duta. Okay, so this is our sugarcane way back in Bukidnon. And so, na siya. So, my sister, I asked my sister kung tagpila ang presyo ka 1846, ka 1620, ka 60, ka 2100, ka 1414. So that I could compute kung pila man ay ang mas efficient nga gamiton, nga mix of fertilizer considering the price. So this is what I arrived. 1620 and 1 bag of 0060, 4,450 pesos. I-apply mo lang sa imong ano. So, mahal gid siya class, diba? Okay. So, paano na ako na? Anong implications na, ma'am? So, amo na ni siya subong, no? So, you see, it's not that very, it's not that very tambok nga makasiling katambok. Because isa lang yan naka-factor ang fertility sa soil. May damo pa factor ang weeds, no? Ang mahilamon, ang fertilization, damo pa, kag pests. So, sa care and maintain crops, ma-focus lang tayo class sa fertilizer. Okay? So, let's go back, a little backgrounder on the importance of soil sampling and preparing soils for analysis. And what's the analysis tells, okay? And what could be done alternatively kung wala kang soil analysis, okay? Because you could have class a general recommendation. So if you came across with a task no paano na siya, no, maka-came across magid ka sa sini nga mga challenges. So I'll be giving you a lecture first about this one, and later in the context of your farm, pwede nyo gid ma-apply, no, ng inyong mga idea, because we dig a little deeper para ma-appreciate ta. Okay, ang mga bagay-bagay, okay? What are the essential steps in doing soil sampling? What are the important considerations in the step-by-step procedure in soil sampling and preparation? Okay, why soil analysis is important? Nga again, because it enables you to find out the makeup of your soil. Number 2, to find out what you need to do to improve your soil's quality. Mabalaan nimo kung ano ang kalidad sa imong duta, kag ano pagid ang kailangan nimo obrahon para nga ma-improve ang quality. helps you determine how much fertilizer you need to apply para mabalaan mo kung ano kadamuon pa sa kailangan mong i-supplement ng fertilizer kag ano na siya nga klase, organic or inorganic. Because it all dictates to good crop production. Because our crop grows din sa soil. Unless otherwise, you do hydroponics, which is the trend and the fad for today. Because class, that was my generation. And the generation of my parents, my grandparents, nga gatanong sa soil. No, well, the population is booming, and amo na siya, human beings always tries to find ways. Okay? So, okay, soil. What is a soil? First, it is a mixture of minerals, organic matter, gases, liquids, and the countless organisms that together support life on Earth. Now, so, amo na siya tang soil, ginatapak-tapakan ta lang na siya. It is a complex system. Hindi na siya simple, complex. Because, tanawar agad kung imo siyang ilantawon sa imong eyes, gidya. It has a lot of things in it. Organic matter, gases, liquids, and organisms. No? It makes life on Earth. There is also life under your feet. So, first, paano ta makabalo nga there is life under your feet? To know and understand our soil. So, diyan natin mabalaan class ang mga properties sa atong soil. May physical properties, may biological properties, may chemical properties. So, physical properties, the color, texture, and the structure. Now, the state of being ara siya. So, what are the texture? Salt, sand, salt, and clay. Amo na siya ang texture, no? Ma-feel mo bala? No? Feel method para mabalaan mo ang textures. So, may araman hydrometric method. Titration method nga mabalaan nyo gid siya kung ano gid ang texture. Okay, so structure. Now, sa soil, may siya good condition, moderate condition, and poor condition. So, good distribution of a friable, finer aggregate, no significant cladding. Amo nang ginasiling ko when I say earlier on na clods. No? So, moderate. Significant proper proportions of both coarse, firm clads, and friable or fine aggregates. Poor condition. Dominated by extremely coarse, very firm clads with very few finer aggregates. Okay. So, ano na siya ang indicators na? No? So, when you go to your farm, lantawan nyo inyong farm after land preparation, no? After heavy rain, no? Lantawan niyo siya kung tig-atig-agad siya. So, definitely, kung tig-atig-agad siya, syempre, hindi na niya, walay penetrate ang soil, mag-germinate siya. So, most likely, hindi siya, amo na siya mag-grow. Kaya, importante yun kaya land preparation, no? So, di rin na sa care and maintain crops sa. So, may ara pagid biological. So, the other three, what are those? Physical, chemical, and so you have biological. Then, so biological, there is life. When you say bio, ano na siya galing class? It means life. There is life under your feet because our soil is the home of the nematodes, the arthropods, no, birds, no, nematodes, fungi, protozoa, bacteria. Those are microorganisms. No, at help decompose further. Amo nitong ginahambal ko na abrasion or decay. Nasa yung gakaon sa mga roots sa idalom. And you also have arthropods. These are insects. No? Insects na siya ang arthropods. Predator, shadows, no? Makita ka naman damang insects, di ba? In the soil. And may animals. So, animals, rats, naman siya. Phylum Arthropoda, under dira ang class Insecta. So, may mga insects na no, six-legged animal, insects, or organisms. And then organic matter, waste residue, and metabolites from plants, animals, and microbes. So, our soil, nahambal ta kagina, it's a complex because it's, kung imo siyang microscopically or even not that microscopically, no. So, cell physics amo ni siya, it composed of 45% mineral particles, it composed of 20 solid phase. Tungaon mo na siya ang pi, 100%. Half of it, 45 is 50-50. 50 solid phase, 50 liquid. 4 spaces. Now, the 25% is organic 45% is mineral particle, while the 5% is the organic matter. And sa pore spaces naman, 25% air, then 25% ang water. Then sa organic matter, 80% is humus. So, and then chemical properties. So, diri na ta class, diri gasulod ang ato nga fertilizer. So, 6 macroelement, we have essential elements, no? Hindi na, these are free, hindi kami kailangan baklon. Carbon, no? Gina-exhale mo. Hydrogen, part na siya sa water. Dito sa pore space bala class, ang mga space na hindi ka-occupy, ano na siya, ang water, H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Air or carbon dioxide. These are free. No? So, 6 macroelement and 8 microelement. The 6 macroelements are composed of 3 primary and 3 secondary. The 3 primary are NPK. So, ang mga makita sa label sa atong fertilizer. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And 3 secondary are calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. The 8 microelements are, when you say micro, needed in small quantity. When you say macro, needed in big quantity because ang mga biochemical processes sa plant need this in bulk or damo-damo amount. So, chemical properties, iron, zinc, boron, sodium, copper, chlorine, manganese, and molybdenum. So, needed siya gihapon sa photosynthesis because they form part of the receptor or binding site of the light energy, makadto sa tanom, makonvert din siya into chemical energy, mapotosynthesize no food production sa tanom para able siya makadevelop sa storage, which are in the form of fruits or hindi mo siyang tubers, no, or unod o kundi bunga. Okay? So, our soil is part of the chemical properties. Part na siya sa relationship, negatively charged and positively charged. So, generally, our soil is negatively charged. Our fertilizer is positively charged. No? So, may mga crevices na siya ma-develop. Okay? When you say crevices, this is a chalk. If I will break this, bukon ko siya, pihakon ko siya. Ma-develop siya of crevices. Do you see that one? Crevices, no? So, ma-develop siya of structure, portion of the surface area nga walang halog-halog pala. So, pwede na din may site of chemical reaction. So, our soil is negatively charged. So, pwede na din ang chemical reaction. So, kung nag-apply kayo sa abono dito, and may rin sa chemical exchange. So, mas ma-easy pagidya ang absorption sa tanong. Because it's pulverized, kapin pagid nga gin-apply mo pagid siya sa abono, kapin pagid siya sa solution. Ang mga elements in the form of solution, because capillary action mo na, di ba? Capillary action, the flow of water upward. No? So, na siya sa roots. Paano na siya paano na siya ma-uptake sa roots kung wala water in the soil? And so, our fertilizers now, calcium sa dolomite, no? Sa dolomite or sa limestone or sa lime, nga imong gina-apply pala para mabulong ang acidity sa soil. And so, that is part of the chemical properties of the soil, no? Okay, if you have a question, feel free to PM. Okay, class. Now, this is a very important law of minimum. So, ano ng law of minimum, ma'am? So, you see this bucket. Ano ang level sa pagkapuno iya? Diba? Gaka-base na siya kung ano ang pinakanubo man nga level sa element. In this case, is nitrogen. No? Diba? Kung may ara kaya tubian, tapos ang tubian may buslot di, may ano di, so dira lang ang kaya niya i-hold. No? You cannot share if you are half empty. You cannot share what you do not have. So the same is true with this bucket. No? Gaka-overflow na siya, gakahatag na niya nakahatag ang ammonia siya. It's not necessarily nga nahatag ha, because ang point diri is ano ang level sa kaya niya ma-hold nga content kung may hindi namin ang suludlan niya is not level. No? Ano na siya. So, each of these connotes the element, NPK, and all of the microelement. So, in the same way, in this illustration here, kita nyo, dali lang ang level sa P. So, ang growth sa plant, dira lang. Diri lang ang level sa K. Diri lang ang growth sa plant. Diri ang level sa K. So, dara man ang growth sa plant. That is what we call the law of minimum. So, dapat mabalaan tagid kung ano gidya ang needed sa tanom kag ano ang available in the soil. It's being simplified. Okay? Soil is also a science. Healthy soil is a science. Okay? Ano siya sa mga pH, no? The acidity, the phosphorus, the nitrogen, ano ang level, ano ang environment ang pH. Because the pH class, dira ga-dictate na siya kung ano ang available na nutrients in the soil. No? Parang environment balakis hindi tayo kahambal, hindi tayo hindi tayo ka-perform well. If atong home environment is magulo, no? Amo man na sa tanong class. So, we find a safe space for us to learn, no? Basta never give up. Find a space for you to learn. And if you have questions, feel free gidya to PM me, especially if you have concerns sa inyong talamnan sa inyong farm. Okay, class. So, soil sampling guidelines. So, we have to prepare these tools here. Shovel, trowel, soil awareness. This is on soil sampling. Pero kung mag-apply na kag-fertilizer class, syempre, suludlan lang yung sa fertilizer in your hand, nga may protection man. But you know, Filipino farmer, no, we already know that sometimes wala naman lang gali, no? But okay, I will be focusing on the tools for soil sampling. The shovel, the auger, pail. Kilala naman ka mo sa pail, di ba? Timba. When to collect soil sample? Before planting, before any fertilizing, and after harvesting of crops. Nga after harvesting because may ara na siya crop removal. Ginakauna sa tanom ang fertility sa soil. That is why pwede kaya maka-soil sampling after harvest. Get soil sample at the right moisture. No, tandaan nyo na hindi gid ka mag-soil sample nga ga-flood inyo mga talamnan. Okay? Step 1, divide the field into lots. Okay? Check ninyo ang topography, ang slope, ang drainage, cropping history, fertility. Dapat uniform ang lots. Okay? Kung 6 hectares na siya, i-divide mo siya. Designate sampling plots like this one. So, designate mo na daan. Dapat 12 lot per composite sample. When you say composite sample, i-combine nyo siya. Makuha ka di, makuha ka di, makuha ka di, in order to combine that one. Para may representation, para bala sa research, i-check mo lang ang population lang. So, the whole population, this is the whole population, but you have a sample for that lot, ang tawag sa soil, sa field no, sa research na population. Sample, this is the sample, the whole of it, you call that as a population. Okay? Clear, class? So, there are several ways of taking sample. And siya, network. This is una network. Number 2, Z-scheme. Z-scheme, diagonal and impermanent crops. Fruit trees. Ganyan. If you have question, feel free. Collect soil samples from designated sampling plots. Kaya designate mo na mo, so dapat mag-map out kagid according to its commonalities first. Clean the sampling site by removing the vegetation and trashes. Hindi ko aon mo ginang mga dahon-dahon da. Use the soil auger to plow a depth of 20 to 30 centimeters. So remember the Kahoot app? The Kahoot game? No? So, or you can use a shovel and dig a small pit of about 30 centimeter depth. Get the slice of soils and place it in plastic pail. Kung wala na may pail, socks, So, you know, we are resourceful, we can modify. That's the attitude gidya sa part if you will want to be an agriculturist someday. Okay. So, thoroughly mix the soil. Amo na ning ginasaling ko, composite, no? Pulverize the soil before mixing. Isa ano man yan. Then, transfer about 1 kilo to the composite sample at the plastic bag and label properly. So, sample. Tapos na siya na mix thoroughly, class. Na mix nyo na siya. So, ang mga particles dito, gulong-gulo na sila. Mix na sila. So, they can represent the whole population. Okay? Basta make sure lang na hindi ka magkuha sa mga manure piles kasi syempre, iba-iba naman na iyong So, sa kung mag-agchem ka mabala, so, ang probability nga ma-detect sa laboratory kung ano man hindi ninyo properly perform ang soil sample, damo kayo siya affect sa result. That is why you have to perform soil sampling properly. Okay, precautions. This is what I am telling. Collect away from roads, buildings, compost, or manure fertilizer piles and other places that does not represent the field. Okay? And what the goal nyo is i-represent nyo kung ano ang fertility status sa inyong soil. So, kung ipasubmit nyo man siya for soil analysis, it follows na dapat tadlungon niya inyong soil sampling and collection, and preparing of soil for analysis. Do not use contaminated tools. Okay? Clean all tools and containers before and after use. So, yan, i-map out. So, very important po ang communication. So, dapat kabalo gid tanan nga part sa isa ka job. Nga you lay down. Kagto syempre para they know what you're thinking. Diri day kami. So, pareho sa ginhambal ko kagina, no girls and guys na part in doing it efficiently, do the job. So, the girls will map out kung sino ang kaon nila nga area. The guys or the boys, sila naman ang mag-dig sa lot. And then, magkuha sa soil. And then, ang girls naman ang mag-mix and mag-kilo and mag-label. Okay? So, simple lang gid ni class. Ano ni siya? Di ni siya tanan pakadto. Okay. If example class, ang soil mo, taas yung fertility, kag magtanong ka this kind of crop, and to say, jutay lang ang fertilizer yung inudugang mo. If ang soil, hindi kayo amo na ang fertile, katambok. So, hindi ka say, damo pa nga abono ang inudugang mo. Kung amo lang niya. So, mas damo pag nga abono. Kung amo lang niya. Siyempre, mas damo pag nga abono. Kung jutay ang fertility sa imong soil, damuan mo pag nga abono. So, it entails money. So, dapat kidya halungan tagid ang aton nga soil kag dapat one way to do that is to check also kung pila ang harvest, ang production niyo sa inyong mga talamunan. This cropping, the next cropping, pila naman, and granted all other things are constant, no? Mawala bagyo, na. Para maka-check mo, kailangan guro, dungagan tani og mga organic matter ay, or kailangan guro ibalik ni natin ang trashes sa talamnan ay i-turn under natin siya and padugayan natin, nuto natin siya to improve, no? And those are just simple things. Sample preparation. So, ano na So, sample preparation. Okay, this part class is just, the sigun ko lang ni class ha, because these are the job of the analyst, no? But para mas ma-appreciate ta gid kung kailangan ta proper ang atong soil sampling. So, kasi, i-air dry na siya, i-pulverize, tapos, i-sieve na siya, may small mesh particles, may bigger, that will go to the analysis. For organic matter, ang gagming nga particle and phosphorus, ang medyo dagko, calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, pH, and salt texture. No? These are part of the ng 8, di ba? 8 ka micro. We have 6 ka macro. A while ago, no? Ang pinaka-basic good macro is NPK, pinaka-common. Then pH soil determination. So, ibutang na sa pH meter, mix, i-check kung pila ang pH. 10 gram ang kwaon nila, ibutangan ng distilled water, tapos ibutang sa pH meter. Hindi niya siya ma-play. But later, if gusto nyo gid, we can do that. Tapos, 50 gram ng soil samples, ng titration, para mabalaan ang silt, sand, and clay. So, apart from that class, actually, pwede naman ta field method mo kung silt, sandy, and clay. This is quantitative way. Okay? Then, so, kung if you happen, mag-take ka mo board exam, may ara ni siya ang soil triangle. Para mabalaan nyo gid kung pila ang amount, what is the soil texture, no, by this triangle. makita mo na mo, ang reading ni bala, diri sa sand, salt, and clay. So, amo na siya. Pero, I have seen this as a wisdom naman. No, nga. Okay. So, for example, you have a question. What is the soil texture of a soil with 40% sand, 45% clay, and 15% silt? Okay, paano na siya? So, like a multiplication table, balakas, ang bata pa ka mo. Clay, this is clay. How many percent ang clay? 45%. Tapos, diri mo pangitao ng 45. Diri siya, ayun. Okay. Una gali ang silt, nga 15 the silt for the sand is 40%. Where is the sand? This is the sand here. Sand 40%. Sand 40%. Tapos, you have the clay. Clay na 45%. And you have the silt na 15%. So, what kind of salt it is? It is a clay. But if you look close enough, balaklas, tanawon yun ni bala. 40% sand, 45% clay, 15% salt. Lantawon nyo lang ang quantity. 45% ang clay. Mas taas siya sa 40, mas taas siya sa 15. Mas probably, may clay ginaya. Amo lang na yung technique, okay? So, organic matter determination. So, butangan of dichromite, sulfuric acid, distilled water, 9. Filtration method. We have phosphorus determination. And change in color. It's their job. Calcium determination and magnesium. These are positively charged mo. So, isa lang ilang ano ni sila, cation ni sila tanan, class mo, positive, bala, sa chemistry, no? So, isa lang na sila tanan, ang ginatest, they go through the same, more or less the same flow, Okay. Result of the soil analysis, dari nataklas ang pinaka-meat sa tanan-tanan. So, for example, duha ka field. Amo ni siya nga field. Duha ni siya ka field. So, the question now is, dito sa soil type, clay, loam, and clay. So, ang type is loam. We have the clay. So, if we check close enough, because of the loam, pH is medyo mataas. Not very acidic. Ang OM yan, medyo nubo. But anyway, amo niya nga ppm, no? Amo niya nga na-check, na-detect nga parts per million nga phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Well, this lot here, clay, pH siya is acidic, taas yung OM. Then, 10 yung P, 165 yung K, calcium is 135, 53 yung magnesium. Okay, class. So, familiar naman ka mo, di ba? Sa mga symbols like phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. So, may na din interpretation. No? So, above, high, 150 and above ang yung K. So, this, if you check close enough, 115, so medium yung potassium. Yung calcium naman niya is low yung calcium, and this is low yung calcium. But here, yung calcium is not medium. Magnesium niya. So, this is the, paano niya siya i-interpret. Okay? So, So, okay. So, we see here, class, we see here na amo niya siya. So, ang NPK requirement, ang iyang N, PK. So, first is 128, 92, and 120, 119, 138, and 60. So, amo ni siya, may ara siya available, may ara siya requirement. So, this is the NPK requirement or the recommended rate. No? Amo ni siya. Kaya this is the available mo, amo ni recommended rates. And may ara din siya ginhatag na option. You have here, here, and here. Then, kung lang tawon yung class, 6 bags of 1846 0. Urea 1620 14 bags, 20 bags of 1414. In terms of labor class, mas efficient na sa kay duty lang ang bags niya gamiton. No? And in terms naman niya of price, ang money naman, let's check the price kag i-compute naman natin. Okay? So, we will have an additional lecture and activity for that. But, so, NPK requirement or kilogram per hectare. So your activity is that, okay, you apply what you learn. Now, determine the soil physical condition in your farm according to structure. Kung may farm ka mo to, it's good, moderate, or poor. Texture, sandy, silty, or clay. Okay? I-check nyo inyong mga farm. Okay? Nan. So, I will wait for your response, ha? Remind it the pang. Evaluation. I know. So, it is part pa sa inyong practice of all that I have discussed. So, interpret the soil analysis result as follows. Marwin Sweet Pepper Farm has a NPK requirement of 25-50-70, while Ken's Sweet Pepper Farm has an NPK requirement of 50-60-80. Whose soil is more fertile? Marwin's or Ken's? Why? Okay, your reason based on the topic that I have discussed. No, ang ato bala ang may damo ang soil ya dari ang levels of fertility, ang fertilizer nga i-add amo ni siya, na and even the NPK requirement. So, I will count 1, 2, 3. Your answer? 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is your answer? So, ang answer is kasi naman. Very good. Mas fertilia ang kay Marwin. Kay jutay ang requirement. Meaning to say, taas na siya nga daan. So, in practice, please practice this. Suppose you want to grow sugarcane and the recommended rate is 180-100. How many bags of 4600 or urea, 18460 or diammonium phosphate, and 0060 or muriate of potash will you use? No. So, ang sugarcane usually taas ang recommended rate. Okay, so it's select in your recommended rate. Ilagay ang recommended rate 100, 0, rate. So, next is 180, 100. Tapos, ang fertilizer material na available is 4600, 18460, and 0060. So, use first the double element fertilizer, ang diammonium phosphate nga 18460. Kaya siya lang ya ang gadala sang phosphorus nga 46. Okay? So, amount of diammonium phosphate is equal to 80. Because of this, 80 recommended rate over decimal place na ni siya ang grade analysis of 18460. So 0.46. So 80 divided by 0.46 is equal to 173.91 kilogram or 3.47 bags. Now, this also carries nitrogen. So, the amount of nitrogen in kilograms is equal to percent N, 18%, times 173.91 kilograms is equal to 31.30 kilograms of nitrogen. So, paano niyo masuma ang remaining NPK nga needed? Solve for the original recommended rate minus the nitrogen and phosphorus from diammonium phosphate. Original recommended rate, 100 minus 31.30 minus 80 minus 0. So, the remaining nitrogen now is 68.69, thus 0. Na-satisfy mo na ang recommendation ng phosphorus / 100. Amo na siya yung new recommended rate. Yan. So, natapos na ang 18460. Amount of urea is 68.67. New recommended rate divided by grade analysis of urea, 0.46 is equal to 149.28 kilograms or 2.98 bags of urea. So actually, hindi ka man makabakal og bags, di ba? So you buy all. Approximately 3 bags. Amount of muriate of potash is equal to 100 divided by 0.60 is equal to 1.36 166.67 kilogram or 3.33 bags of muriate of potash. So, practice number 2. So, as a review, you will buy, you will buy 3.47 or 3.5 bags of 1846.0, almost 3 bags of urea, more than 3 bags of muriate of potash. So that's the rate of fertilizer. Suppose in another piece of land, you grow tomato with a recommended rate of 90-60-60. How many bags of fertilizer material will you use? The available materials are 4600 urea, 18460 ng DAP, diammonium phosphate, and 0060 or muriate of potash. So, recommended rate, 90-60-60 for tomato. Makita niyo, medyo jutay lang ang recommended rate sa tomato because it's a 4-month crop and depende man po na sa fertility sa ibang soil. No? So, sunat nimo ang available fertilizer material, 4600, 18460, 0060. So, we use first the double element fertilizer. Again, ang DAP, diammonium phosphate, ng 18460. So, amount of diammonium phosphate is equal to 60, kaya siya ang recommended rate, 60, divided by 0.46 is equal to 130.43, nga 0.46, 46% of nitrogen. Kaya percentage man, so divide 100. Ano ni? 0.46 divided by 60 divided 0.46 is 130.43 kilogram or 2.61 bags. So this also carries nitrogen. So the amount that you have, ang 130.43 kilograms times 0.18 is equal to 23.48 kilograms. Solve the original RR minus that of nitrogen and phosphorus from diammonium phosphate. So, original RR is equal to 90-60-60 minus 23.48 dash 60 dash 0. So, since ang 60 mo, ang phosphorus requirement is na-satisfy niya by giving 2.61 bags of DAP. So, the new recommended rate is 66.52 minus 0.60. New recommended rate. So, isatisfy naman natin ang nitrogen requirement with urea. New RR 66.52 over percent analysis, grade analysis of 0.46 is equal to 144.60 kilogram or 2.89 bags of urea. Amount of MOP is equal to 60 yung RR kasi wala man na siya nabulinan. Divided by 0.60 is equal to 100 kilograms divided by 50 or 2 bags. So, assessment. So, amo na yung practice per mi class. So, practice again and practice. So, assessment, no? Taganda ka mo Google link, no? Tapos, example, the farm of Miss Alemon, after soil analysis, is a fertilizer recommendation if planted to petchy of 60-00, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium per hectare. The available fertilizer material in the market is 2100 at 550 pesos per bag. How many bags of 2100 are you going to use? What is the cost of fertilizer material that you are going to use? So, amo na inyo mga check ko na sa inyo. So, may Google Forms man na. Okay? May Google Forms na siya. I-check, ihatag ko na sa inyo. You can access the assessment using this Google Form, https://forms-.gle/G90 capital YQ and QM J55HJPE JWQ5. Okay? And we can have perform a lot of practice sa aman na siya. And then later on with the prize naman ta. Okay, class? So may I remind you sa self-assessment guide no, so that I could check also the analytics after nyo submit, no? None. So, sino na nag-yes and then no. Kaya na focusan because it's very beautiful. Makita ko wala kung ano inyong ano yung prior knowledge with this, no? So that, okay na da yun, nang nice inyong understanding about these things here. You just click yes or no. Wala man na wrong or right answer. Gauge ko lang na kung the income mo, where you are at right now. So do you have questions, clarifications? Now, if you have questions, feel free to ask me. I am more than willing to assist you. No? So, ano na siya? May mga kinds of fertilizers. This is ammonium phosphate here. So, can you identify the kinds of fertilizer? No, i-associate in as a color class like diammonium phosphate. 1620 diammonium phosphate, 18460. Monoammonium phosphate ni siya. Mono ng 1620, diammonium phosphate is 18460. So, in your own pace, maansaran nyo din na siya yung class. No? Medyo dasag lang kaya ha? Pero in your own pace, kaya nyo din na siya. This is the particles and the color of ammonium sulfate, amosol, is the urea, mas coarse, mas fine. Monoammonium phosphate, medyo grayish, 1414, gray, diammonium phosphate. Rate of fertilizer, pila. No? So, this is what I am telling. Ang ammonium amount is good for pila ka hectares nga land, pila ka bags. So, estimate nyo man ang pacing nyo kung hasta ka mo diin lang kahon na, no? Para walay leaching, walay masobra nga abono. Okay? Employ appropriate method of fertilizer application, basal, side dress. So, that would be to follow para ma-reinforce ini nga topic. Because this is very important because 40% of the cost of production comes from fertilizer use. So, yun siya. Determine soil moisture content. Pwede naman na field method. Perform watering of crops. Now, ang pinaka-critical stage is a flowering stage. Good agricultural practices. So, talking back about soil fertility, maara na sa kahot. Wala na ako nag-i-expound because ara na siya sa kahot. But if you have question, yeah, feel free to ask lang. Apply irrigation water, pruning activities, follow occupational health and safety standards. Supposedly, may ara ginaya nakapaskil ng mga yes or no questions. Do you motivate your workers to work safely? Describe how. Perform tools and equipment for cultivation, carry out cultivation practices. You're rejuvenating. Sa core number 1 na siya, perform growing trainings of crops, mulching techniques, safety procedure, carry harvest and post-harvest na operations, identify crops, prepare materials, tools, equipment for post-harvesting operations, compare pests and pest incidents. Okay? So, scroll down ko lang ni siya to the last minute and then you click submit. So, that's the end for our discussion for today. I hope you learned something new. Thank you and goodbye. God bless. Okay, God bless you, class.